Ancient Egypt, one of the most powerful civilizations of the Bronze Age. Conqueror of Nubia, breadbasket of the known world. Land of great wealth and beauty. Tamer of the Nile River, and builder of great monuments and temples that reach the heavens. Mother of civilization, and great wanderer of the world. But even this mighty kingdom nearly fell to ruin had it not been by the power and blessings of the Most High Hashem through a Hebrew man named Joseph. Shalom and welcome. This episode will cover the life of Joseph. Our goal is to figure out which dynasty and kingdom of Egypt was Joseph a part of. Also, our goal is to figure out the biology of the Egyptians and early Hebrews of this period. Our final goal is to see what modern human populations share similar genetic ancestry to populations living in Egypt during the dynasty and period of Joseph. Now let's touch on the phenotype of Manasseh and Ephraim. According to the scriptures, Manasseh and Ephraim parents are Joseph and Asenath.
And unto Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, a priest of On, bare unto him.
Joseph was a Hebrew and Asenath was an Egyptian. The story of Joseph likely took place in the 12th dynasty of the Middle Kingdom of Egypt. Most scholars think Joseph lived in Egypt between 2000 and 1600 BCE. The historical period known as the Middle Kingdom lasts from 2000 to 1786 BCE. This is one of Egypt's greatest times. There are 8 pharaohs during this time, comprising Egypt's 12th dynasty. Joseph might have come to Egypt during the reign of Sesostris II, 1894 through 1878 BCE. He most likely begins his career under Sesostris III, 1878 through 1841 BCE. He lives in Egypt for 71 years, so Joseph dies in approximately 1805 BCE. Under the reign of Amenemhat III, 1841 through 1797 BCE. According to 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 1, the Exodus occurs 480 years before the 4th year of Solomon. Solomon's 4th year is 966 BCE. That places the Exodus at circa 1446 BCE. Now, as for Manasseh and Ephraim phenotype, this part shouldn't be too much of a mystery. All we have to do is combine the phenotypes of both Joseph and Asenath. Therefore, I would say that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were likely intermediate brown and dark to black skin. They also would have dark hair and dark eyes. This basically would fit the description of the ancient Semites. I find it interesting how the depiction of these ancient Semites fit with Lazarus 2022 paper, with much of the Middle East being intermediate brown and dark to black skin. Furthermore, this fits with the indigenous world skin tone map, with the Middle East populations being light brown, medium brown, dark brown, and black. But this essentially confirms in a roundabout way what early Jewish, Christian, and Muslim writers said about the descendants of Shem, looking light brown, medium brown, dark brown, and even black skin. From Rabbi Eleazar, he blessed Shem and his sons black but comely, and he gave them the inhabitable earth. And from the Persian historian Tabli, born to Noah were Shem, whose descendants' colors are a black complexion with a light brownish undertone and a dark blackish brown. And according to Bar Hebraichus, Shem, the land of the Browns. And according to the history of the messengers and the kings, the children of Shem settled in the center of the earth, which is between Satma and the sea between Yemen and Syria. Allah made the prophets from them, revealed the books to them, made them beautiful, gave them a black complexion, luminous and free of blemish. With that being said, I would say that Joseph's ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, would have looked like these ancient Semites. They would fit within the spectrum of an intermediate brown and dark to black complexion, much like Lazarus 2022 paper and the description of Shem's descendants and the indigenous skin tone map, among other things. But returning to the Hyksos, we're clearly looking at a people that are intermediate brown skinned, ranging from a light brown to a medium brown with a yellowish undertone. With that being said, Joseph and his family could have looked like this, only using populations from the Levant as our representation. Basically, they would range from a light brown to a dark brown and have a yellowish undertone. They would also have black hair and dark brown eyes. And again, the visual representation we are using is only from the Levant if we were to use that perspective. And now let's combine everything that we've covered visually. And basically what we see is what Lazarus 2022 paper illustrated. Joseph, as well as the 70 members of his family, could have looked intermediate brown and dark to black skinned. They would also have black hair and dark brown eyes. And I highly doubt that they would have been pale skinned. And this also happens to fit with what early Jewish, Christian, and Muslim writers describe the descendants of Shem: light brown, medium brown, dark brown, and black. Also, this fits with the indigenous skin tone maps, and once you put all the populations together, I believe it's quite obvious that Joseph and his family would have likely been dark-skinned. So now we have a good idea for Joseph's phenotype. As for Asenath's phenotype, she more than likely looked Egypto-Nubian. 12th dynasty Middle Kingdom Egyptians had strong Nubian admixture and ancestry. You can see this from the pharaohs to the governors and the priests and even the general Egyptian population. Therefore, we can safely assume that Asenath also would have had Nubian admixture and ancestry, since she was from this time period. Therefore, Asenath could have looked dark-skinned, specifically dark brown, with black thick hair and dark brown eyes. Basically, Asenath would look like the many depictions of 12th dynasty Middle Kingdom Egyptians. I don't believe she would have looked any different from what we see in that time. Now, as for Manasseh and Ephraim phenotype, this part shouldn't be too much of a mystery. All we have to do is combine the phenotypes of both Joseph and Asenath. As we can see, Manasseh and Ephraim likely had dark skin. They could have ranged from an intermediate brown to dark brown in skin tone. They would have had black, curly, or thick hair texture and dark brown eyes. This is likely the phenotype of Manasseh and Ephraim when you combine the likely phenotypes of Joseph and Asenath together. Honestly, this outcome of their phenotype makes sense in light of Lazarus 2022 paper and how early Jewish, Christian, and Muslim sources said that Shem's descendants look like this. And also, this fits well with the indigenous skin tone maps of the world. And just to clarify, I'm using Semites from Mesopotamia and the Levant to illustrate the likely phenotype of Joseph, and I'm using 12th dynasty Middle Kingdom Egyptians to represent the likely phenotype of Asenath. And I combined all the images together to show that this would be the likely phenotype and range of skin tones, hair textures, hair colors, and eye colors for Manasseh and Ephraim. If you put all of this together, this is what you'll get. Therefore, they likely would have had intermediate brown to dark brown skin, black curly thick hair, and dark brown eyes. Hopefully this video was educational and beneficial. Be blessed, and shalom.